before the first monster is slain or spell is cast, there's a critical moment in every campaign that can set the entire tone of your adventure. That moment is Session Zero. Hey there, DMs and storytellers. Welcome back to my channel, where we dive into all things D&D. Today, we're going to talk about Session Zero, arguably one of the most important sessions you'll run. But most often, it's overlooked. In Session Zero, you're not just setting up characters, you're setting the foundation for your entire campaign. From establishing expectations and boundaries, to nailing down the vibe of your world. It's the key to ensuring everyone at the table is on the same page and ready for the adventure. So I'm going to walk you through exactly what you need to cover in Session Zero to set the stage for an unforgettable game. When players sit down at the play table, there will be a mix of new, experienced, or veteran players. But no matter how experienced the players are, each player finds joy in D&D differently. So before anything, we need to talk about what genre of game we want to play. You, as a DM, probably have a story planned. So tell your players what style of adventure you have planned. Is this story a mystery, an epic adventure, a heist, or some sort of survival game? And once this is clear, we need to talk about the vibe. This, I think, is very important for your players to decide. The style of game is completely up to you, because it's your story. But this is a co-op storytelling game, so your players are the main characters. So if they're going to have the same energy as like Jack Black, then your story is now a comedy, and that's that. So discuss with your players about the vibe you were hoping to get out of it, and see if they're feeling the same way. This is an important stage to agree on before moving on, because if your players disagree on the tone of the game, then there will definitely be problems later in the campaign. Once the tone of the game is decided on, it is now time for you to do the favorite hobby of every DM, lore dump. Show a map of the world, a town or city they'll be starting in, and describe any interesting things they need to know for their characters to feel like locals. If the world thinks magic is taboo, there's a tyrannical government that has been ruling for the past 10 years, or there's a super rare race that is on the brink of extinction. These are things you want to tell your players so they feel like they are part of the world before the game even starts. The best way to do this is to sit down, write a small script for yourself, and use your epic narrator voice. And once your players are getting into the world and they feel inspired, this is the time for... Most game masters have their players build their characters before the first session, but I highly recommend you build your characters together after all these things I mentioned before. I feel when the players make their characters on their own, they normally come to the table with a super goofy character, a character that doesn't fit the party, and an edgy loner. But if you make your characters together at the game table after the world introduction, they will 1. Make characters that match the style of the campaign you agreed upon in step 1. They will integrate their character into the lore of the world you laid out for them in step 2. And the best part of building the characters together is their characters will most likely already have pre-established bonds. One player will say something like, "I want to play an elf," and the other will go, "So do I. Let's be brothers." This is the ideal scenario for every DM. So you can skip the corny strangers meeting in a tavern trope that starts every campaign. And if your players have pre-established relationships, the party will work together in harmony instead of having that edgy lone wolf character that has to do everything by themselves. If you take only one thing from this video, please have your players make their characters together. I cannot stress it enough how good this is. And when the players are feeling good about their characters and they are revved up to play, we will start by... Have a small scene prepared for your players to round off Session Zero, to get them excited for the rest of the game. It might be hard to plan this scene beforehand due to the characters not being made yet, but you can plan a scene that will be the same in any location. Let's say, for example, my campaign is an evil necromancer storyline. I would write the start of my story is someone comes up to the party and his chest explodes alien style. His body turns into a skeleton and attacks the party. The party has to defeat the skeleton and investigate the body. They will find rare, magical runes engraved on the rib cage. And that is where I would end my session 0. They are now hooked and are excited for the next session. This introduction that I wrote before my players even made their characters. Now, we can put this scenario in wherever the players fit into. The players made a group of elves and gnomes in a magical forest. Then this skeleton shows up near the sacred tree. They made a band of thieves that are drinking at a shady tavern. The skeleton bursts through the front doors. This way, you can write your intro to the story, and the players feel like their characters were made perfectly for the campaign. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more D&D videos. Happy DMing!